You don't have to be famous to be effective. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. Today I'm coming to you from Anaheim, California. I'm staying at the Paradise Pier Hotel, and I have had a great day. We've had a couple days, if you've been following, we've had a couple days of chaos and turmoil. Not in a bad way, it's one of the fun type of turmoil, okay? And we've got, today we got to start our day in California Adventure, Disney California Adventure. It's a strange wording of it, but just understand it's the second park in Anaheim, California, straight across the way from Disneyland, from the original Disneyland that Walt Disney built. And it's great. They've done a whole lot with it. It was started in a really odd way. California Adventure I'm discussing was started in a very odd way, and they've maneuvered around it over the years to create somewhat of a storyline and to start having newer characters and so forth in there. One of the major changes that they made was that they took a lot of the story of Walt's life and created lands around it in order to make these lands that were originally created when California Adventure first came out, and have them make a little more sense. And the first place you walk down is a little bit like a Main Street USA type deal, except they changed it to call it Buena Vista Street. And Buena Vista Street, the main concept of it is this is LA in the 20s, late 20s, early 30s, when Walt Disney first arrived on the scene. And he already had a rough go at it. He had a situation where he completely lost a whole lot of his staff. He lost the character he was working with, everything else, and he was looking to try something brand new. And so he's in LA for the first time, and there's all these cast of characters and places and everything that go along with it. So this is where this I've got this picture I want to show you, but first I'll give you a little bit of background. When you first walk down the street, it's very quaint, it's very cool. We're going during the holiday time, so they're playing Christmas music, and Christmas music of that time period, or that style at least. And walking down is really nice. In the center circle, kind of like a hub, what they have, because of COVID, they have the characters. They've got Mickey Mouse, they had Minnie Mouse and Goofy dressed in, 30s style garb. But you can't go up and hug them and talk to them and take pictures with them directly because of the whole COVID thing. So they've got them kind of distant behind a chain link fence, not a chain link fence, but a chain, behind a chain where kids can't come up and touch them. But they're encouraged to come up and take pictures. So my kids all run up and take pictures with Goofy, and then they all run up and take pictures with Minnie Mouse. And then along the other side, I noticed two other characters the only reason I know who they are is because I'm a nerd about this type of thing, and I understand what the point is behind them. But these two characters that are standing there, and not many people are taking notice of them at the time. I asked my wife if I could go over. She didn't mind if I go over. I don't need to ask my wife permission, but I asked her if she didn't mind if I go over for a second and take a selfie with these folks. So here you can see the picture of me with them. And the reason why I took this picture is because it all of a sudden it hit me. It's like, isn't this so interesting how these characters were created specifically for this park, specifically for this area, and most people aren't even going to know who they are. So the gentleman dressed as an officer is a character played by multiple cast members, different actors who have played the part of Officer Calvin Blue. And he is a character made specifically for that area, Buena Vista Street. and he walks up and down and would chat people up and talk to people as if he was in that era, and is very much a caricature. And then the other one is Donna, the dog lady, also a character that wanders around and talks to people. But because of the COVID thing, they don't do that, so they have to come out and just stand there. Well, most people don't know who they are, so they're not going to go up and take their picture or go up and talk to them. But they're there anyways, so it's an interesting thing. But besides that, I wanted to point something out, bringing it back to business, because that's what we talk a lot about on here, right? So one of the things that I discuss in my book, 9 Ways to Amazon-Proof Your Business, which you can get a free copy at amazonproofbook.com. And I apologize that I'm yawning. It's been a rough couple days, just kids and everything else. And I'm up late right now, past when my brain should be allowed to be able to continue functioning. But my book, 9 Ways to Amazon-Proof Your Business, you can get a free copy at amazonproofbook.com. In it, I discuss the concept of being a somebody, or becoming a somebody, if you will. And whether you are or you aren't, there's an importance behind being one. And so having a personality that people can connect with is so very important, even if they don't necessarily consider you a celebrity. Goofy, Minnie Mouse, these are celebrities. These are people that are older than most of us. It's just really interesting, the dichotomy between those two. Yeah, you could sell coffee mugs and stuffed animals to this day with these characters on it, and you're not going to be able to do that very easily with Officer Calvin Blue and Donna the dog lady. But the importance is that they exist. They were created out of thin air to fill a void. And the same thing can be done in your business. I don't care what kind of business it is. You can create a character out of thin air, whether it's real or not, whether it's yourself, which is always nice because people like genuine, even if you're nothing flashy or anything else. If you're genuine, people really enjoy that. But whether it's yourself or whether it's a completely made-up character, if it's interesting enough, if it holds attention, and I say that in the sense of it being made up. If it isn't made up, just the fact that you're genuine will draw attention. But if it's made up, it's got to be interesting. And so if it's an interesting character that has some color to it and something to keep your attention, people will go along with it even if they know it's a complete fabrication. People go along with the Geico Gecko even though they know this is a cartoon on the screen, or at the very worst case scenario, they don't think that a gecko has been trained to speak English and sit there and promote insurance. So there you go. It's very important to have that personality somewhere in your marketing. You could do a whole lot without it, but to have that, it handles a whole lot of the heavy lifting that you would have to do otherwise, and it's very difficult. Where if you can add that to it, you've added a dimension that can't be replaced. I mean, to this day, they haven't found a replacement for Colonel Sanders over at KFC, and that's because it was such a unique character that this man had developed. He was both himself and he was a flamboyant character, and you can't replace that. So just a quick tip, quick idea, something to think about. Go check out my book for more details, or stay tuned here wherever you're watching or listening to this. Love to hear what you think about characters and whether you think it's something that your business can need. If it isn't what you think it needs, if you think there's no possible way that you could include personality in your business, leave me a comment wherever you're watching or listening to this. I'd love to hear from you. That's all I got for tonight. You have a good one. Get out there and let the magic happen.